Hello and welcome to my channel, The Enthusiast Garage, and welcome back to the Corvette series. So it's been like a month since the last video. You guys saw me put in the engine and connect everything. Then when I got in, it didn't want to start. It didn't want to even click, engine turn. So a lot has happened since then. I'm gonna walk you guys through all the diagnosis stuff that I've done. I'm still not done, but hopefully I'm at the finish line of me getting the car out on the road. So I'm gonna pick up the camera and show you all the stuff I've done. Okay, so as you guys remember, the car didn't want to start, and I suspected it might be the VATS, which is like the security system for the key, which not letting me started. So I looked up how to bypass it, and I did find that the original owner did install the resistance bypass. Let me find it. This is it right here. So I did not install this. This is the previous owner. And what this does is pretty much replicate the same frequency resistance that's on the key. So the key got this metal piece in it, and that's what gives the resistance. And if the car doesn't read that, it's not gonna let it start. So even though I already had the bypass, it still didn't want to start. So I followed the diagram, the wiring diagram. I will put it on the screen and try to explain it in person here. But the wire, pretty much what I'm trying to follow is the wire that goes to the starter, that purple wire that goes to the starter. I want to see where does it connect, where does the power come from. And there's a relay here behind the dash. So I removed the dash over here and I reached that relay. And what I did, I bypassed it by putting this short right here between the green and white wire to the yellow. This bypass would bypass this whole starter relay. So I did this bypass and still it doesn't want to crank. So I went back to the wire diagram, and really the only thing that was left is the clutch sensor. Automatic cars have the neutral sensor, but since this is manual, it have the clutch, which means you have to have the clutch pressed in for it to start. And of course I'm pressing it in, but nothing. So I come here and I bypass the clutch sensor. And as you guys can see, this green wire, it's what's coming from the ECU that gives the power. This purple wire, it's what's going straight to the starter. Once I bypassed this, I was able to get it to start, or at least the engine to turn. Hear it crank. It's finally cranking after bypassing this. So in reality, I didn't really have to bypass this relay here, the starter relay. This was the culprit in my case. Even though, keep in mind, before I pulled the engine and all that, and before I even fixed the clutch, because the clutch pedal wasn't working. It was like in and out. It was working fine, but now all of a sudden the sensor doesn't want to work. So anyways, I bypassed it, and now we can hear it crank. So you see, now it's cranking. The next issue I had, it still did not want to start. It cranks, cranks, cranks. I checked the fuel pump, it's working. The fuel relay here is working. And still the car did not want to start whatsoever. I sprayed some lighter fluid in the intake and fireballs again. So I figured maybe the timing is wrong, and that was the case. If you guys remember in my previous video when I had the engine out over there and I was installing the distributor the first time, I made sure it's on TDC, but I had not the compression TDC, the exhaust TDC, which is 180-degree off. So I pulled the distributor, turned it 180-degree, put it back, and now it tried to start. It started, but I had to give it a little bit of gas for it to start. It still ran like shit, so I end up doing 6 BTC and that's 6 before 0 BTC. And you can see it here. It's hard to see, but it's on a harmonic balancer, the timing line. Once I fixed the timing, it finally started. It doesn't want to idle on its own, but it's smooth, it's not misfiring, and at least I can rev it. So now to move to the next issue that I had, this right here, the coolant line that goes over here to this right here. From the intake manifold to the heater core. It kept leaking because the thread was all stripped. And this was the original one. I tried all kind of epoxy on it, regular epoxy, aluminum epoxy. Every time the car warms up, it will pop open, spray coolant on me and burn the shit out of me. So I end up getting like a barb fitting, a 1/4 inch barb fitting. I did tap, drill and tap on it, and now it's finally not leaking anymore. So we don't have a coolant leak. And then I ran into the issue of overheating. I turn it on, I rev it for like a minute. On a cluster inside, it shows 300 degrees Fahrenheit. And I can see the coolant coming back up to the funnel and bubbling and boiling. So I turned it off. The fans are not working. That's why I have this whole fiasco here. So let me show you how I diagnosed the fan issue. And this one, what took me forever. I pulled out the fan to test it out. It's working. That's the main fan, and there's an auxiliary fan. They're both working. The relay was completely rusted out and very, very bad. The fusible link over here was burnt. So I fixed the fusible link, changed the relay. It still doesn't want to start. I got all new sensors. Coolant sensor, there's one under the intake I changed. And I'm about to change the passenger and driver one. There's one here and there's one on the passenger side. And I fixed all the wiring over here that comes from the sensor to the relay. I think what the original owner did, he combined both sensors. So the way it's supposed to work, this sensor on the driver's side will trigger the auxiliary fan. And the sensor on the passenger side will trigger the main fan. What the original owner did, he combined both of these sensor wires, as you can see here, into one. So if either one of them cranks, like get to the right temperature, it will always trigger both of them. And I like that. That will guarantee it will always be cool once. So if one of them fail, the other one will always turn on both. So now I just fixed the wiring, I fixed the relay, I'm gonna change the sensors, install the fan back, and hopefully the fan will kick on once the car warms up so it doesn't overheat. And if the plan works, I can just top it off on coolant and take it out for the first time ever on the road. And I'll bring you guys with me and we'll see how it drives. I bled all the brakes on it. One of the rear ones did not bleed correctly. I was getting no fluid out. So I know that's gonna be an issue, but the good thing is this car gets controlled from front and back separately. And I know the front brakes are working perfectly fine. So we'll just take it easy. We'll take it around. We'll see how it goes. So let's get to it. All right. So I connected the new sensors, coolant sensors. I added more coolant in the funnel because it lost some coolant when I removed the sensors. So now the goal is to turn it on. It's not gonna idle on its own, so I'm gonna have to stay inside Revit. But the goal is to see if the fan's gonna kick on and if it's not gonna overheat. If the fans kick on and it won't overheat, then I'm gonna pull it out and we can take it for a spin. So let's see how it goes. All right, I removed this from here because it was really bothering me when I move it around. not idling good at all now. And it keep popping as if timing moved a bit. I'm gonna keep trying, let's see. Keep over revving. All that smoke is the extra coolant that's around, it's not a big deal. It feels like the timing moved on it a bit. I wonder if that's the case. All right, let me try something. Okay. So the way I've been turning it on and staying outside the car is I put this little clip on the throttle, and that will keep it open a bit. That way I can monitor to see what's going on inside. So I'm gonna that's how I open the throttle a little bit. Nope, that's too high. Yeah, it was a bit loose actually. I was just able to move the distributor a little bit. That's not good. So the timing is a bit off. That's why it's acting like that. It moved. I guess I didn't tie down the bolt for the distributor all the way. And when I was working on it, it moved. So I'm gonna put the timing light now, see if it's still at 6 BTC. That's what it should be on. And move it until we hit that again. Now it's sitting at 6. Now it's sitting at 6. It's still popping though. I'm gonna connect the distributor cable again, so it will self-adjust now, and see what would happen when I do that. We'll see. I just want to warm it up till more than 200 degrees and see if the fan's gonna kick on. It's revving good. It doesn't want to idle, but it's revving really good. It's not popping anymore, so I think the ECU just needs time to adjust itself. It's 201 degrees now, so I'm gonna try again. 204. I think 205 it clicks on, or 210. Wonder if I disconnect the MAF, what would happen? Let me disconnect the MAF, try again. And try with nothing, see if it can idle. I think it is the MAF. It's idling on its own now. Oh yeah. I think the MAF is bad. You know what I'm gonna do? I think it's already purged, coolant wise. I'm gonna take it outside because it smells really bad now. And I think it's good enough for me to at least drive it outside. At least that way I can test if the first gear is working as well. So I'm gonna do that now. All right, I'm gonna take it outside. Hopefully no issues. This is the first time I actually drive the car on its own. Like I'm gonna run the transmission, the clutch, the wheels. So let's do it. I have no brakes now, or like really weak brakes. Oh yeah, I don't like how the brakes feel at all. I think I'm gonna have to bleed the brakes. It's not moving. As if the shifter is not doing anything. Well, that's a new issue. I have it on first, I'm letting go of the clutch, nothing's not, as if the clutch is not working at all. But there's a lot of pressure on the clutch. I did bleed it, I changed the master, slave cylinder. But even if it's not working, it's on first gear. So it shouldn't have even allowed me to go on first gear if the clutch is not working. Even if it's like let go all the way, I put it first gear, it should jump on its own or turn off. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Like after doing all the work, something with the transmission be completely off in this car. It feels like the transmission itself is like broken, the shaft. Nothing is engaging, nothing disengaging. And I did inspect the clutch and flywheel when I had everything off. But hey, at least the headlights work. Well, the good thing is the fans are working. It just hit 225 now. And the fans kicked on. So it's idling, the fans are working. I just need to see why the transmission doesn't want to engage at all. Yeah, temperature went down. AC is not working as expected. yeah, need to see what the transmission is all about now. All right, so this is it for this episode. We're doing tiny steps, but I feel like one step forward, 10 backward with the amount of money I'm spending on it and work. Like from the last video till this one took me a whole month to diagnose what you guys saw in this summary. And it's still not perfect, the timing is not perfect, but I did narrow it down to the MAF sensor. That's pretty much one of the only things that I haven't changed yet. Yeah, this car is pretty much like challenging me to, hey, I want you to change everything. Not just the engine, every single sensor, every single pump. Literally nothing's working in this car, so tiny steps. But we got it to idle, at least in the end. It's not leaking coolant, it's not leaking gas, because it was leaking gas in the beginning. I had to change the rail. I didn't show you guys that in the video, that took me forever too. The fans are working, so the electrical relays, all that stuff I messed with, they are working. So now, transmission's not working. I did change the clutch master and slave cylinder. I have pressure on the clutch. The brake pedal is not that good because I know one of the wheels didn't bleed, and now probably it will bleed because I'm getting pressure again. But I have to do more diagnosis on why it wouldn't go to first gear. The shifter will literally go into first gear, but the car doesn't feel like it's first gear, as if the shaft is not connected, shaft is broken. I don't know if it's the overdrive unit with the Dugnash. I have to do way more research on it. If you guys know, please put it in the comment below. If you have the Dugnash transmission in your Corvette and you dealt with this issue, please let me know. Usually that helps me a lot when someone comments and tell me the issue. I did add more oil to the overdrive unit. I did not flush the transmission, just the overdrive unit. So I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna do my research and homework on it, and hopefully in the next video, transmission will be good so we can finally take it for a spin. So thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.